Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today. And today the Houston Rockets play the New Orleans Pelicans, and it is their 64th regular season game. And we're going to be previewing this matchup against New Orleans, second matchup in a row against New Orleans, fourth matchup in a row. Houston Rockets trying to go for the clean sweep against New Orleans, which would be a 4-game sweep against the Pelicans. The other night, the Rockets beat them 109-97, and so I'm excited to see what they can do tonight back at home after a up and down road trip. I mean, you finished the right way, but it was still a terrible road trip. So I'm glad the Rockets are back home. Officially, it was exactly a week being away from home because Saturday was the last home game they had against Sacramento. Last home game they had was a tough 10-point loss. So hopefully the Rockets can get backtrack at home and they can start winning streaks on the road and home against this Pelicans team. So, all right. Let's preview this matchup. Rockets still no Fred VanVleet. He came back that one game last Saturday against the Kings, last Rockets home game, and then missed against the Thunder, Pacers, and the Pelicans. And so, it was a brief hello for Fred VanVleet, and then a quick goodbye. Hopefully he'll be back in the lineup soon, but he re-injured that ankle, and so hopefully he can get back soon. Reed Shepherd is out tonight with a thumb injury. So this is the first game he's going to miss of his NBA career due to an injury, I believe. Now, he's missed a bunch of games this season due to being like a DNP or getting sent to the G League, but I don't think he's ever missed a game due to an injury. But, so yeah, Reed and Fred are out. With Reed and Fred being out, of course, the men recently last couple games, the men's been this, besides the OKC game where you had Reed going off. A men's been starting at point guard where Fred's not playing, and sometimes we'll see Reed in there, especially when he's playing good basketball. With no Reed tonight, I'd expect some minutes for Aaron Holiday off the bench, especially with Amen Thompson starting. All right, New Orleans. Bruce Brown is not playing today. He's resting. They play Memphis tomorrow. It's the first night of the back-to-back for New Orleans. Hopefully they go 1-1 in this 2-game back-to-back, because if the Rockets were to beat the Pelicans tonight and New Orleans somehow beat them, I'm going to say this right now. I don't think it'd be that shocking if New Orleans beat Memphis tomorrow, because Memphis has been struggling. They lost 4 or 5 in a row until they played a Dallas Mavericks team the other night who only had 7 players, and best player was Klay Thompson, and they nearly lost to that Mavs team. So I know New Orleans is not particularly healthy either, but they got Zion, they got CJ McCollum. They should have Bruce Brown since he's resting tonight. I think they got a solid enough team to beat Memphis. So hopefully the Rockets can beat New Orleans tonight, and then New Orleans can beat Memphis tomorrow, and then the Rockets will go from the 5 seed to the 4 seed, which would be great. I mean, look, I say this, I don't care if the Rockets get to the 3 or the 2 seed, because I know it's going to be hard, really hard to catch up to the Lakers or the Nuggets, so I don't care if they're the 5 or 4 seed, but I'd at least like them to get to the 4 seed, so you have the home court advantage in a series against the Memphis Grizzlies if that's who they're going to play in the first round. So that's my whole thing. I'd like to see this team, if we're going to play the Grizzlies in the first round, that's fine. Just I don't want the Rockets to start off that series on the road and not at home. And also, look, I think if the Rockets and Grizzlies play each other in the first round, it's going to be a hard-fought series. I think it'd be a lot like what we saw with the Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic last year, where it's an up-and-down series and, 7-game series. And if you have a Game 7, you don't want to go to Memphis for a Game 7. You want to be in Houston. So that's why the Rockets need to be at the 4 seed and not the 5 seed. So, keep an eye on the Pelicans to lose tonight and hopefully win tomorrow. But no Bruce Brown, no Brandon Boston Jr. Obviously Herb Jones and DeJounte Murray out for the year. So they're banged up, but they're not super banged up. I mean, Alvarado, look at some of the injuries earlier in the season. They had a lot of injuries early in the season. Like there was a time where like all DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram and Zion and Jose Alvarado were all out, and others. I know Brandon Ingram's not on the team anymore, but they are more healthy now than they were to begin the season. I still don't think they're a great team, but I think they're a team that the Rockets shouldn't take for granted tonight, and a team that I think could beat the Grizzlies tomorrow. So let me know your thoughts on this game. What do the Rockets need to do? I mean, I think they need to just they need to do something they didn't do against this Pelicans team the other night is get a good start. That is something they need. It's something they really haven't done really lately. I mean, besides the OKC game, you look at their last couple games, Indiana's against the Pacers really started off rough. Yes, they made a comeback, but it was too late. So their last 2 games, they started off rough. Against OKC was a little bit different. They did start off great against OKC, but you want to go back to last Saturday against the Sacramento Kings. They had a terrible start, absolute terrible start. It was like 20. No, it wasn't 22-3. It was something like 18-3, 15-3, something like. No, I think it was 17-3 in like the first quarter. They were down by 20 in the first half, and they came back and took the lead. But there have been some rough starts for this Rockets team in the last week. A week ago at home against Sacramento, New Orleans the other night, Indiana, and the Rockets, each time they've bounced back. Now, the New Orleans lead wasn't strong enough to the point where the Rockets lost this game. New Orleans was only up by like 11-12, so they were able to come back and win. But Indiana and Sacramento's leads were way too strong for the Rockets to come back, and way better teams. So I think that this Houston Rockets team needs to get off to a better start. That is something they haven't done in most of their last 4 games. They need to get off to a better start tonight. Let me know your thoughts on the Rockets game tonight. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and peace out. Go Rockets.